everybody, and welcome back to the Self-Help University. My name is Devin, I am your host, and this is the podcast where I help you guys on your personal development journey. Now guys, before we get into today's podcast episode, I'd just like to give a big thank you to everyone who's tuned into the podcast so far. It's pretty crazy because we started off on one platform, which was YouTube, we went to Castbox, and then we went to Anchor, and then all out of nowhere, I'm on Spotify, I'm on iTunes, I'm on Apple Podcasts, I'm on everywhere. I'm so grateful to have so many people listen to the podcast from all walks of the internet, because you know, usually when you think of I'm going to listen to music, you think of Spotify. When you think I'm going to watch a video, you're going to go to YouTube. If I want to watch some movies, you go to Netflix. You're here because you want to hear about the attitude of gratitude. And to me, this is something that has changed my life. Like, I'm not joking, you guys. I know you hear a lot of people now, you're like, this is life-changing, this is absolutely crazy, buy my course, buy my ebook right now. But that's not the truth, guys. Okay, I'll give you guys a scenario. How many times do you complain a day? How many times before you go to bed you're like, man, this happened, and then this went wrong, and that went wrong, or I wish this didn't happen? Okay, probably a lot. A lot of the time. Not all the time. Maybe once a week, 2 days a week. If you have a bad day, you definitely think about it before you go to bed. You say, man, today was so bad. All this stuff happened, and my boss gave out to me, or I had an argument with my girlfriend, or I spilled coffee all over my new suit, or whatever, okay? How many times a week do you say, wow, today was such a great day. I am so grateful that I was able to wake up this morning. I'm grateful that I'm able to see, speak, walk. I'm grateful that I have a job. I'm grateful that I can earn money. I'm grateful I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful I can drive a car. I'm grateful for my family. How many times do people say that? Not that often. And that's the thing. How can we acknowledge the bad things when they happen, but we completely forget about the good things when they happen? And good things are happening to you all the time. I know a lot of people would never acknowledge something good unless it was amazing. Like, oh my god, I won a car, or I won €5 on the scratch tickets for the lottery, or I won the lottery, or I won a gift prize, or I randomly got selected to win this random gift, or, you know, I bumped into an old friend. If something significantly good doesn't happen to someone, they never acknowledge it. And I think we take that for granted. I'm not saying people take, you know, their family for granted and the ability that they can read and write and walk for granted. Or maybe they do. Maybe some people do take that for granted. I mean, people listening to the podcast, I'm not saying you take it for granted, but how long has it been since you said, man, I am so grateful that I can read and write. I am so grateful that I can walk, that I can live independently, that I can drive a car, that I can work, that I can support myself financially. How many times have people acknowledged the good things in their life? And that's the thing. You need to have an attitude of gratitude. Because one thing you have to remember is that misery loves company. If you're hanging around negative people who think the world is against them and everything is wrong and nothing is ever their fault, you need to get away from those people. And at the same time, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Granted, you might be around a lot of motivated people, but if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get into a new room, man. You need to get into a new room. You need to constantly be learning. And having motivated friends is extremely beneficial, because obviously if they're motivated and they're striving to get good grades and they want to get good jobs, you're more than likely going to want to be motivated to go and get good grades and get a good job. And a lot of people are saying, oh my god, that's not true. Like, that's actually such a lie. Okay, let's just say you're around with 9 of your friends, a big group, 10 people, and you're one of them. 9 of those people are smokers. Now, are you or are you not more likely to at least try smoking, or even worse, become a smoker? Statistics say you are. Okay, so you are. You are the product of the 5 people that are closest to you outside of your parents, okay? Parents have a massive influence on their children, okay? And there's no doubt about that. But I'm talking about in social situations, so like your friends. The 5 closest friends that you have, you are the byproduct of them. The same way cheese is a byproduct of milk, okay? That's the way I can describe it is. Look at your 5 closest friends. I want you to stick out your hand and look at each one of your fingers, okay? Your 4 fingers and your thumb. Okay? And I want you to name out someone for each finger, okay? And look at them and say, are you an accurate reflection of those 5 people? Because chances are you have traits of all of those 5 people. And even if you don't even recognize it consciously, subconsciously, you are picking up on their actions, their beliefs, their motives, and their behavior, and you're implementing that into your life, okay? And that's why I've determined myself to surround myself with so many motivated people, people who are aspiring to achieve great things, people who want to get on well in life, people who don't abuse alcohol or do drugs and stuff like that, because it's so important to hang around with people who are beneficial to your life, and people hear beneficial and they're like, what? Oh my god, so you're like using people? No. Just because you're hanging around with people to benefit you doesn't mean you're using them, because you're benefiting them as well by being a solid support to them, being a motivator to them, being a good friend to them, and giving them positive affirmations when they do things right and motivate them to do better and better and better. And a lot of people are saying, okay, well, how does this have anything to do with being grateful? I'm a massive believer in the law of attraction, and that what you think of and what you believe attracts into your life. And I'm telling you, man, if you want to raise your frequency and you want to raise your vibrations, gratitude is the thing that you need. And even if you don't believe in the law of attraction and stuff like that, there's no denying that thinking actively and being grateful for things throughout your day make you happier, okay? Think about it. Like, I'm grateful for my parents. Now I feel good about myself. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my amazing girlfriend. And now I feel great. I'm grateful. I'm happy. It's a lot easier to do that than to be like, man, I didn't get the raise I wanted, or I didn't pass that test. Oh my god, like complaining about things, because regardless of what you're complaining about, what has been done is already done. Regardless of whether you complain about it for like the next 10 years or if you don't even acknowledge it at all, it's happened and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I know it's not easy to be always thinking actively about what you're grateful for, because, people have to get on with their daily lives. People have important things to be thinking about, but being grateful should be one of them. And one way I have managed to reinforce this idea of being grateful and reminding myself to acknowledge things I am grateful for in my life is to have a thing called a gratitude rock or a gratitude stone. So it's literally a stone. Literally, it can be any object, but I just pick a rock or a stone. It's a little pebble, and I carry it around in my pocket. And you know what you have in your pocket. You have your keys, your wallet, your phone. Well, now you have a gratitude rock. And basically what it does is anytime you put your hand in your pocket, you feel your gratitude rock. Think of something you're grateful for. So anytime you put your hand in your pocket to get out your phone and your finger touches off the rock, think of something you're grateful for. And I find myself doing this multiple times throughout the day, maybe 10 or 15 times throughout the day. And I mean, I'm on summer vacation at the moment, or summer holidays, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not really, using my wallet that much, or I'm not really going on my phone that much, or using my, my apartment keys for college or anything. But when I go back to university, I'm obviously going to be using my keys all the time, getting out my wallet a lot. So it's just going to add more positive affirmations into my day and allow me to be grateful for other things, because I find myself now always being like, man, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And even if it's the little things, like I said, like if I'm, let's say, I don't know, if I'm making a cup of tea, I'll say, man, I am grateful that I have the ability to make a cup of tea. Man, I'm grateful that I have a house with electricity and running water so I can make this cup of tea. And a lot of people might be thinking, that's so stupid. Okay, you're grateful for a cup of tea. What does that do? Subconsciously and on a subconscious level, it's positive affirmations. It makes you subconsciously happy. You might even directly know it, because obviously if you won €1 million and $1 million was put in front of you right now, you'd obviously be physically very happy. You'd be jumping around, probably screaming, stuff like that. That doesn't mean that small things doesn't make your subconscious happy. You mightn't realize it, but it just contributes to having a positive attitude, because if a minor inconvenience happens to you, you're not like, oh my god, I hate this life, oh my god, what is this, and going into an absolute rage mode and freak out on everyone around you. But subconsciously, it just kind of upsets you. You mightn't even realize it, but that's why little things build up and build up and build up, and when you bottle these things in and don't really talk to it about anyone, that's when they finally kind of, I guess, manifest into the physical form where you physically are upset, because sometimes you might be talking to someone and you might have said something to upset them, and physically, by looking at their facial and non-verbal expressions, you wouldn't have even noticed it. And I know this might be a lot of effort for some people just to be grateful for something, and people say, oh, an attitude of gratitude, just think positive, which I really do not believe in, just thinking positive. There's some situations that you literally just cannot be positive in at all. But you have to remember that life is 10% of what you do, and 90% of it is how you react to it. And like I said, one thing might happen to one person, and another thing might happen to another person, and they'll react to them completely differently. And the best situation I could give for this is school. Some people go through school and they absolutely hate it. Some people take the exact same classes and they absolutely love it, and they go on to be a doctor and a PhD and be a massive contributor to the academic world. Now, if they went through the exact same experience, why are they not getting the same results? And the truth is, it's because 10% of what you do and 90% of how you react to it. And I know sometimes it might be hard for you to consume these podcast episodes because maybe you only have a certain amount of time in the morning, maybe eating your breakfast, or whether you're on your daily commute to work or to university or to school or wherever you're going, and you mightn't have that much time in the evenings or stuff like that. But maybe if you guys like to do some evening reading or some nighttime reading before you go to bed, if you do have that want to go and read these things and not just listen to a podcast episode about it, the two books I can highly recommend for you guys is, of course, The Secret. It's like a #1 bestseller around the world. If you guys don't know what The Secret is, it's literally the most powerful book I've ever read. The Power of Positive Thinking, which I would also highly recommend. It just shows that when you look at everyday life in a positive manner, you can really change your mindset around, and you can actually feel a lot better during your day, because as I said, a lot of this stuff works on your subconscious level. You don't even recognize that you're happy, but when you get to the end of the day, you look back at the day and you're saying, man, today was such an amazing day, even though nothing significantly amazing actually happened. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it for today's podcast episode, guys. It's something I wanted to get off my chest, and I wanted to, more importantly, share the knowledge with you guys, because I'm not out here trying to be like, buy my ebook, buy my course, do this, sign up for this. But I will say, if you guys are interested in The Secret and The Power of Positive Thinking, I will have them linked below where you guys can go and check them out on Amazon. And to be fully open with you guys, if you do decide to purchase those books, I will get a small commission of the revenue gained by that purchase. So guys, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. As always, I'm so grateful for every single one of you. More importantly, guys, I want you all to stay grateful, have an amazing day, and I'll see you all on the next podcast episode.